Game 7 of the NBA Finals will be remembered as one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history. While the Pacers were clearly undermanned, they actually kept themselves in for a large part of this game. But what had gotten a bit overshadowed was some curious decisions again made by Rick Carlisle that blew any of their chances of winning this game. The Pacers had come out swinging with confidence. With Halliburton on the floor, the Pacers' offense was moving quickly, and they were generating really good shots. And even better, Halliburton was determined to set the tone fast in this game by clearly looking for his shot. So when there was any open space, he let it fly, and he started out the game making 3 threes to give the Pacers an early lead. But that's when disaster struck. As Shea closes out, Hallie tries to push off and falls, which leads to a steal and an easy layup on the other end. And unfortunately, that was the end of his night, which really changed the Pacers' offense. Pascal Siakam had been a pretty big mismatch for the Thunder throughout this series and kept Indiana in the game for stretches. With a smaller Caruso on him, he just overpowers him for an and one. Without Hallie though, the Pacers' offense started to play a lot slower and much more methodical. The objective of their offense focused on creating mismatches and then using their size or speed to find shots. They did this by running pick and rolls because the Thunder wanted to switch everything. So with Chet on McConnell, he drives that baseline and flips it in over the 7-footer. When the Pacers looked for mismatches inside, that forced the Thunder defenders to come over, and they were able to create some decent opportunities. This kept them within striking distance and was punctuated by Nembhard hitting his signature step-back 3 to give Indiana a 1-point lead going into halftime. However, if there was one thing that was clear, it's that this playstyle required Indiana to stay within single digits as much as possible. Because they're not playing as fast, it's a lot harder to come back like they normally would when every single possession is a grind. The Thunder the whole year have blown teams out by dominating the third quarter, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander started to take over. The Pacers helped defenders try to time up his shot, and he makes a fantastic last-second read for a rare Chet Holmgren 3. Next possession, Shai has Nembhard, and he spins off of him. The Pacers have to help, and that's the Thunder's third straight 3 to now extend that lead up to 9. So, Rick Carlisle calls timeout to stop the momentum and made his first bold move of the night, sending Pascal Siakam for Obi Toppin. What this really meant was that he wanted TJ McConnell to take full charge of the offense. For most of this series, McConnell has continuously torched the Thunder by relentlessly getting in the paint, and Game 7 was no different. With Cason Wallace as his primary defender, he couldn't keep up with McConnell's speed again. And as slow as Indiana was playing for most of the game, McConnell was able to change the pace of their offense, going in quick bursts right off the catch that made it extremely hard to defend. The downside was that Indiana's offense looked really one-dimensional. Not that it's McConnell's fault, but no one was touching the ball and continued to watch TJ cook for most of that third quarter. With Siakam still on the bench, TJ gave the Pacers a huge lift by hitting this jumper over Shai to make it a 4-point game with just 3 minutes left in the third. With a chance to cut that lead down, McConnell tries to drive on Hartenstein, but is now getting doubled. The ball eventually finds Obi Toppin, who then fumbles the ball out of bounds. So, at this point, it seemed like Carlisle's bold move to bench Siakam had paid off. McConnell gave the Pacers some momentum back, and Siakam could enter the game to help diversify their offense. But that's when things got weird. Instead of bringing Siakam in, Carlisle took Andrew Nembhard out for Ben Shepherd, which meant TJ McConnell was the only ball handler on the floor. With the Thunder up 4, J-Dub runs pick and roll, and Hartenstein is able to find Cason Wallace open in the corner for 3. On the way down, with no other ball handler, this gave the Thunder leeway to trap TJ McConnell, and that creates a turnover and a layup to push the lead up to 9. Next possession, the Thunder deny McConnell, so Obi Toppin has to try and make a play, and he gets lucky that the refs call a foul. Again, that creates another chance for Carlisle to get Siakam in the game to give McConnell some support, but instead, he subbed Thomas Bryant in, who hasn't played any meaningful minutes in the finals since Game 2. And again, that specific move had immediate consequences. With McConnell trying to inbound the ball, Thomas Bryant is open, but he doesn't come to the ball and floats out instead. So now no one is open, and McConnell has to take the 5-second violation. Then on the other end, The Thunder immediately put Bryant in pick and roll, and J-Dub's just way too fast for him. So, with the lead now at 11, Carlisle calls another timeout, and finally, he brings Siakam in after 6 minutes of rest on the bench. Now, admittedly, Siakam didn't end up doing too much, and I think a big reason was that the Pacers continued to just ride TJ McConnell. For the last minute and a half, McConnell looked like he ran out of gas, and the Thunder were able to push that lead up to 13, and by then, it was just too much to make up during that juncture. Now, no way am I saying that Carlisle getting Siakam back in earlier meant that the Pacers were going to win this game, but to me, there were a few reasons why I thought his management of Siakam throughout this game was a bit strange. As much as I understand wanting to bring him back in fresher for the fourth quarter, it was absolutely crucial that Indiana could keep it within striking distance first, and for a team that really values balance and depth, they clearly needed someone besides McConnell to score consistently. This is also not the first time that Siakam had been iced out for certain stretches of these finals. Just a week ago, we discussed how he had kept the Pacers in Game 5, but Carlisle ended up sitting him for a long stretch in the fourth quarter, which helped OKC pull away. And just 2 games later, he made the same mistake again, and his substitutions directly helped the Thunder take control of the game. For the Thunder, they didn't play a clean game offensively, but Game 7 is just another reminder of how awesome their defense really is. Yes, they foul a lot, but this team is relentless and continues to put pressure on the offense, which creates turnovers and easy baskets. Of course, we will never know how this game would have turned out if Halliburton stayed in. But the Thunder proved that they were by far the best team throughout the season, and while they had some hiccups along the way, especially offensively, their collective defensive effort helped cap off their first championship in their team history. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. If so, please feel free to like and subscribe. Just wanted to say thank you for all the support for this 2024-2025 season. We will have plenty of off-season content along the way, so stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.